me best will tell you that I don't always have the easiest time paying attention. When I was a kid, even up till now, sometimes it's difficult to pay attention. And I think that's the case for all of us. And today I just want you to kind of consider here the deeper meaning maybe of just the phrase that we use, right, to describe this experience, the importance of paying attention. And this is the case in relationships, it's the case in the classroom, it's the case anywhere we go in life. And we use this phrase, and we know that that's an important thing for us to learn how to do. It's an and sometimes urgently important thing for you to pay attention in the situations like driving a car, flying a plane, piloting some sort of rocket ship. I'm sure requires some attention. Okay, but again, that phrase "paying attention." Well, what does that imply? Well, like paying for anything, the implication there is that there's something I have to give. There's something I have to actively do to make this situation right, to make this situation, be what it's supposed to be. There's a debt that's owed here in a sense. So think about a relationship, for example, someone you love very dearly, that the importance of paying attention to that person is something that should be paramount in your mind. Sometimes you may be forgetting about that in the moment, you may be distracted by work, you may be distracted by other duties in your life. But what happens when you don't pay attention to that person right in front of you? You can see a disconnect. Sometimes a person's very disappointed. You can see that you've hurt that person because their time is not important enough to you maybe in that moment, or that's the sort of impression you give, is that their presence in your life isn't valuable enough right now to you. There's something else that's more valuable. You have to pay attention, meaning you have to make some kind of sacrifice. You have to actually do something. You have to make an effort. You have to be intentional. Well, I submit to you that this is just as important, if not more important, in our prayer lives as it is everywhere else in life. If you don't pay attention at work, you could get fired, right, if that becomes a habit. If you don't pay attention in your relationships, if you don't make time for others, you don't take time and set that aside for others, turn off the phone, turn off whatever you've got or whatever's distracting you, from being there and being present to that person at that moment. This is a real struggle for me, you guys. I've had a lot of trouble lately, with just a lot of stuff going on to focus and to be attentive at prayer. But that's something I'm working on, something I encourage you all to work on, to pray for me to be better at this. I'll pray for you as well. And remember, this idea is you can't pay if your account is empty, right? You run into debt. You can't pay if that checking account balance is zero. You're going to have to find another way to take care of that bill, whatever it may be. So if you think about it that way, how much do you have in the bank, so to speak? What have you been doing? What have I been doing day to day to sort of save up some attention, And that's why I think it's so important for us to deliberately go out and try to experience moments of wonder and awe, to take that time a little bit here, a little bit there, to pay attention to a beautiful sunset, to pay attention to the sound of the ocean, the way the sand feels when you walk barefoot across the ocean, when you're not getting distracted and thinking about 50 million things and having your attention split and spent in so many different ways that you have this attention debt, right? Well, how do you get that attention back that you can then pay? Right? It has to be there before you can pay it. So that's just something I was thinking about this week. I encourage you to go to prayer with that request, with that problem maybe, that challenge in your own life, and ask God to routinely help you to take those steps to kind of open up, to be receptive, to deliberately go out and try to find and pay attention to those moments in our lives around us, those relationships, those experiences that in turn will help build up our ability to pay attention in more and more places in our lives. So, just something to think about this week. If you want to hit me up, go over to thegraciousguest@gmail.com, shoot me an email there, go to the website, thegraciousguest.org. You can fill out the contact form and reach out to me that way, or over on Twitter, @gracious_guest. Thank you guys so much, God bless, and remember, until next time, don't forget to wonder. Take care.